Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to today's TNN event. So excited to have you all here. Very sorry about the delay. We had a bit of a technical issue. If you could just find the chat and type in the chat where you're calling in from, what number TNN event this is for you, and what brought you here today. What are you most excited to learn about? Since we are running a little bit late, I'm just going to have Stella jump right in and introduce herself, and you can just take it away, Stella. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. So sorry for the late start. Yes, we did have technical issues. It happens, but we're here now, and I'm so grateful that you are tuning in. We got some people from Austin, from Western Mass. Hi. Ooh, welcome, Jessica. First event. Baltimore, Sacramento, California. I hail from the Bay Area, so hi. Welcome everyone. Oh, I'm so excited to be here. So I am going to share my screen and just dive right in because I want to optimize your incredible time that you're investing in this hour that we have together. So hopefully I can share my screen and we can just go from there. And yeah, because we had technical issues, unfortunately, I didn't have time to test my screen share, but hopefully this will do. Okay. So can everyone see this fine? Just give me like a little emoji thumbs up. Great. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, John. You're in my view right now, and I just saw you do the thumbs up. So this is really helpful. Okay, I'm going to remove this chat, and I'm going to minimize everything here. So all I can see is the presentation. Okay, so we are all here today because I'm going to teach you how to financially plan for any digital nomad dreams or travel dreams in general that you have, and also give you some financial literacy tips, because I don't know if you know this, it is Financial Literacy Month. So I feel like it's extra, and I think this was by accident, Erica, but I'm just feeling like it's extra exciting just because we are doing this during Financial Literacy Month, and financial literacy is so important. So let's dive in. So a quick introduction of me. I'm Stella Gold. My pronouns are they, them, and I am the founder of My Gold Standard. So I am a financial educator and activist, a certified trauma of money facilitator, and I have over 8 years of experience in the fintech, which is what I did before starting My Gold Standard, and also the wealth advocacy space. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I do believe that financial literacy and financial wellness is a form of activism. I've now supported thousands of individuals, couples, and entrepreneurs in defining their own meaning of wealth and money and success through my own humanized and holistic approach to financial literacy. And other fun facts about me, because I love dropping those in. I am a huge gamer. I love plushies and Star Wars. So this is Erwin. And yeah, I love playing indie video games. If you are a Cult of the Lamb fan, drop your name in there and give me a thumbs up. I love being in nature. I just completed the O-Trek in Patagonia. And of course, I love to travel. So let me just check the chat real quick, because I know happy financial history does show up in all our wallets. Yes. Okay, so what we're going to cover, digital nomad information and statistics. I'm a big stats nerd and data nerd, so I'm sure you'll enjoy those too. I found it extra illuminating. General financial literacy, every human should know. travel basics, such as insurance, debit and credit cards, visas, must-haves, what to buy, bring, and plan for as a digital nomad, and how to actually budget for your traveler type. And lastly, how to be ethical about it. Cool. Someone is not on mute. I'm not sure who it is, but if you can mute yourselves, that would be awesome. Okay. Are we good? I think we're good. Cool. So I'm just being mindful of time. So the digital nomad movement, did you know there are an estimated 35 million digital nomads worldwide? And what's wild is that in 2018, there was only 4.8 million. Even last year, there was 15.5 million. So it's kind of wild to see how much growth there has been around the digital nomad movement. Digital nomads contribute a global economic value of 787 billion per year. Mexico is the most popular digital nomad destination in the world right now, and Thailand coming in as a close second to the most popular. And the average age of digital nomads is 32. And most digital nomads start their nomad journey at the age of 29. And the US, this actually really, I found shocking. The US accounts for more than 51% of digital nomads worldwide. And 46% of digital nomads are self-employed and 35% are employed by a company. So I want to give a shout out to the source, 2 Tickets Everywhere. They did a lot of great research on this and I just found it really illuminating. All right, so top 5 reasons for becoming digital nomads. 73% said they wanted a better work-life balance. 68% said that they love the freedom of the lifestyle. 55% said they just love to travel. 43% said they wanted to avoid office politics. And 37% said they had a desire to explore other cultures. So if you're a digital nomad, I would love for you to drop in the comments, what are the reasons that you are a digital nomad or becoming a digital nomad, or perhaps it's just travel in general. I'll share a little bit about why I travel and also became a digital nomad. I want to step outside my comfort zone. That's number 1. I also feel like travel really just brings me to life. It enriches my life. I learn more about myself and others and the world around me when I'm traveling. And for the digital nomad reason specifically, a large part of that was cost of living. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. Moving abroad means getting closer to financial independence, so becoming work optional. I love my job, but it would just be awesome to supplement that with my goal of becoming financially independent. Ooh, I love that. Okay, so we got, feeling stuck in the daily grind, need new stimulation, inspiration, and a wider network with more diverse people. Love the freedom to see the world. Yes. The travel gene. Ooh, I really love that. You've piqued my curiosity. Run from the winter of Canada. Love that. All right. So financial literacy basics, every human should know. I want to preface that these are financial pillars to strive for. So if you don't know any of this, and or if you do, but you're not here yet, that's okay. So let's just dive into a few financial pillars. So 15% is the recommended savings rate of your gross income. So that's how much you should be setting aside for savings. If you're not there yet, even starting out at 5% or even 10% is great. 3 is the amount of months to aim for in your freedom fund, aka emergency fund savings. I call it a freedom fund just because I like to plan for the freedom for anything and everything at all versus planning for, an emergency. It really just is the verbiage that gets me. Freedom just sounds more fun than emergency. And also 3 months is the minimum that I recommend. However, if you're an entrepreneur, I recommend having the full 6 months. If you own your own business and you are an entrepreneur, 6 months is great. 35% is the debt to income ratio to aim for. So your debt to income ratio measures the amount of income a person generates in order to service a debt. So when you apply for a credit card, a loan, a mortgage, whatever, the lender will see, well, will you be able to make this monthly payment each month? They will use this percentage to see if you're able to responsibly pay off the debt each month. So if it's over 35%, and your debt payments are over 35% of your income, that means that it's possible to pay it, but it's a lot harder. So under 35% means it's manageable. And 750, so this is the credit score that gives you access to the best credit cards, loans, and interest rates. So now you know where you need to be. If you're not there yet, again, all good. What's important is that you're no longer in the dark about it. And these are just numbers to strive for and are all a part of the journey. Okay, so these are some traveler basics to plan and budget for. And these are personally things that I've learned. The digital nomad thing, for me, this is my first time doing it. So I was in Chile last month. I'm in Medellin, Colombia this month, and then I'll be in El Salvador and Mexico. And then we'll see what happens next and where I'll be next. But number one is health and travel insurance. You might think like, oh, I have my, fancy credit card that has travel insurance. You're definitely going to want more than what they cover. So that costs around 35 to 50 USD monthly. Travel credit card fees depends on what card you have, but if it's a fancy one, starts on the low end 95, and then on the high end could be 700 USD annually. Foreign transaction fees, 3% average per transaction. It can be avoided with the right debit and or credit card. Visas. So this depends on the country, length of time, and the type of visas that you need. I know there's just an influx of digital nomad visas, and the price really just varies. So be sure to do your research. Taxes, again, depends on the country. There are ways that you can avoid paying taxes as well. You just have to see, what the regulations are. And then miscellaneous. So storage unit. This was super, super important for me because I actually let go of my apartment and put everything in a storage unit. This ranges from 85 to 500 USD monthly. I got lucky. Mine is 85 a month. It's really great. And a virtual mailbox. This is something important, especially if you're an entrepreneur or you just need a place for your mail to go while you're abroad. That can be 25 to 150 USD monthly, depending. Okay. Just checking time. Okay. Traveler basics to plan and budget for. So these are my recommended. All of y'all are going to get a copy of this presentation. And I wanted to equip you with some recommended businesses, credit cards, travel insurance, debit cards, and the miscellaneous stuff that I had over here. And Safety Wing, just a heads up, in the Chase Inc. Business Preferred. Those are affiliate links, so just a heads up. And I'm going to just do a check with credit cards do change the plans and policies. They really do. That's why it's good to get this. Okay, so moving on. These are some digital nomad basics to budget for, just for working in general and living abroad. Money, so wise for money transfers, visa applications, and income requirements. I'm not going to read every single tech thing that I recommend. I actually would think about how you work and what would what would be a benefit to have to make your work feel as seamless and productive as possible, I need 2 screens. Like, that's a non-negotiable for me as a neurospicy person. I just really need the extra support. I also love having a quality camera and multiple travel adapters, a laptop stand, a mic. These are things that just really help me feel grounded in my working space. And a VPN. So I don't have this yet. It's actually something that I learned because I am a financial literacy coach. I have to do a lot of research for my clients, and there was a lot of websites that I can't see because it's not available in the country that I'm in. So investing in a VPN is really helpful too. And lastly, community. So local co-working space. Being abroad can feel a little lonely. So investing in a local co-working space to meet like-minded people is something to budget for too. Cool. So I'm going to pause and just take a sip of water and see the chat. Erica, you know what's up. You know what's up. Yeah, VPN's a lifesaver. I'm learning that. This is why I'm here. You get to learn from the mistakes I've made. Okay, so shout out to any Sailor Moon fans in the house. There are 3 archetypes, traveler archetypes, that I kind of like to explore within my own personality. They all live within me. And they are all budget travelers. So I really called this frugal traveler, not budget traveler, because you have to budget for all of this. You have to budget for luxury. You have to budget for a little luxury, a little, frugality. You have to budget for frugal traveling as well. And so we all need a plan. The luxury traveler, just as how I would describe a luxury traveler, is maybe someone they prefer to stay in a hotel, an upscale co-living space, perhaps a more upscale Airbnb with like all the amenities. Maybe they eat out every day or order in. They're not much into cooking. They fly first or business class. They go on excursions that are more luxurious or maybe a higher cost. So wine tasting, hiring a private driver or a guide, glamping, just as an example. And perhaps they want a luxury co-working space, gym membership. I'm just kind of, making this person up. This is the luxury traveler, AKA, oh my gosh, is this Sailor Uranus? Yes, I think this is Sailor Uranus. Both and traveler. Well, actually, I'm going to skip to the frugal traveler because the both and traveler is the in-between of the two. The frugal traveler, they stay in hostels only. No need for a co-working space, but they enjoy working from coffee shops or perhaps the local library. And they don't mind, flying economy or a budget airline. They're just like, whatever gets me there, gets me there. Mostly cooks, maybe once or twice a week will go out. He looks for, free excursions, more frugal, friendly adventures, stuff like that. And the both and traveler is me. I like to have a mix of both frugal and luxury type travel. I will pay for a budget friendly Airbnb and maybe, once every month I'll splurge on a night or two at a luxury hotel. I like to balance eating out and staying in or, cooking. I don't mind flying economy. Like, I really don't care about that. Excursions, like, again, I can do a mix of the two. Maybe I don't hire a private driver. I can take public transit. It's all about balancing the both. That's why I call this the both and. And the frugal traveler, I already talked about frugal traveler. I'm going to pause. So now you have an idea of like the 3 type of travel archetypes. And we're going to dive into actually budgeting for your traveler type. So let me check the chat. Ooh, travel gene. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. See, I really didn't know about this. Hopefully you can still see this. If you can just give me a thumbs up in the comments, because I can't see y'all. If you can see this. Okay, perfect. So I wanted to give y'all an example, and you're going to have access to the spreadsheet. What you're going to do first is make a copy. I get a lot of request access, so I just want to make it very clear. You're not requesting access to this. You're making a copy to use for yourself. And this is what my monthly budget looks like for being in Medellin right now. That's where I'm located at the current moment. I have my money mission statement here, where you can put your money mission statement is, why do you want to travel? Why do you want to reach your financial goals? What is your your money mission statement in getting financially free? Whatever it is, that goes here as a reminder. And this is where I would start. I would start with your monthly net income. You can input that here. Any additional income that you might have. So me and my partner, these are both, how much we have income-wise for while we're embracing our digital nomad life. And this is what this spreadsheet will work with. So 4,500. I have our saving goals here, which will be different with yours, perhaps. Maybe they're the same. I already have my freedom fund. We have 6 months of savings. We're still investing. We still budget for travel and vacations because we need to account for that in our spending, and make sure that we set aside money for those excursions and those adventures. Or for me, since I'm a entrepreneur, I need to budget for my time off. And fund money, so this is like a slush fund. This is I can do whatever, or we can do whatever we want with this money. Wealth redistribution, donations, because I really do believe in mutual aid, redistributing your wealth, supporting local causes and nonprofits, things that matter to you. And that's what we set aside for our savings. And this is 15% of our gross income. Now, debt repayment plan. So luckily, student loans are on pause, so we're not even worrying about that right now. But we have the different credit cards that we use. We're not in debt right now, but if you are in debt, that's okay. You can still travel. My recommendation would just be to make sure that if you're traveling, you can at least still be on your debt repayment plan goals, and on track to being debt-free sooner rather than later. And then this is our budget. So we put in our rent and Airbnb, therapy, shout out to mental health and our therapists, health and travel insurance, subscriptions, memberships, transportation, and groceries. These are variable, but we give ourselves a fixed amount to work with. And then this is our weekly variable spend. So it's more for eating out, grabbing drinks, going to shows, more fun stuff. And that's about $400 a month. So you might see, oh, that's like really low, or maybe you're like, that's really high. I have no idea what y'all think. But for us in Colombia, our dollar really does go a long way. So as you see here, this will show you what you either have less of. So it'll show a negative balance if you over budgeted, or it'll show you what you have remaining after expenses and your goals. So this accounts for everything here. And so I want to just kind of go through a very quick outline on how to do this for yourself. So let's just say for the frugal traveler, that person has $2,500 to work with each month. And they already have their freedom fund. So $2,500 net, that's usually $3,000 in gross expenses. So let's say the savings rate is 15%. That would mean for a $450 total. this will be 3,000 and it'll actually be monthly. I'm going to say 150 for investing. I'm going to also say 200 here, 100, or actually let's do 50 and then 50. Boom. So 450, I know I'm setting aside 15%. Let's say that this person has 3,000 on a credit card. You're going to want to also try and do 5 to 10%. But let's say they have it on a 0% interest card for the next 12 months. So in order to pay that off before interest kicks in, they just have to set aside 250, and then they have 1,800 to work with in their budget. Let's say they are able to stay at a place that's more affordable. Again, this is a frugal traveler. Let's say they're in Thailand, since that's the second most popular place. So I'm going to say 450 a month, no need for utilities. They still go to therapy, that's 400. Travel insurance is 49. Subscriptions is 25. They have a gym membership and co-working membership. Transportation, gosh, I'm probably over budgeting for this person living in Thailand. It really does go a long way here. So let's see. You basically want to work in making sure that this spreadsheet hits as close to zero as possible. If you want to give yourself an extra, let's do groceries for 150. So that is how you use this spreadsheet. When you do make additional rows, just make sure that you're accounting for it in the spreadsheet and you're good to go. So this can be customizable and editable to your needs. So I'll be sure to send that over. Okay, so we're at the, ooh, I love that these questions are coming in. Shout out to the therapist. Yes, okay. So I'm gonna go back to my presentation slide, and we are gonna get into tips on ethical travel. So we are in the home stretch, y'all, and then I want to open it up to any questions that you have. I guess before I get into this, I do want to talk about rest. I said to budget for vacation planning. However, rest is important, like a transition time. For me, between travels and work, it is vital that I have at least a full day to just transition and acclimate to my new place. And so I fly on Saturday. I know Saturdays are like not the best time to fly. They are pricier than usual. However, I get a full day to relax. I can acclimate to my new space and set up my workstation. And that is, super valuable to me. You can't really put a dollar on that. It just supports my neurospicy needs. So, that's something to think about too. Think about yourself. Do I need a transition time? Okay, so I'm gonna go through this as quickly as possible, but it is important. So tips on ethical travel. Number one, do your research on the culture and the history of where you are traveling to. Take time to learn. Some examples of that could be learning about the indigenous tribes of the land that you're on. Another way to learn about the history and local people is to do your research on other travel blogs of the local people in the place that you're traveling to. I'm going to give a shout out to Nomadic Matt on this one because there's one article that I read about Medellin where he encouraged people not to do the criminals tour, and I'm calling this person the criminal because to the local Colombian people, it's so disrespectful. They don't even say his name. So I love learning about that because I was just like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not going to do that. Number two is to learn a few basic words in the local language. I find that people just appreciate the attempt versus just assuming that they can speak English. And I found that people are more inviting and welcoming and just feel a lot better when you can try and attempt to learn a local language. Number 3, support local businesses and pay the currency. So no haggling with street vendors and businesses, especially when your dollar benefits you more than, or when it comes to the local currency. So of course, I want to add context. There are situations where people will be greedy. They'll try to scam you. Like, those people exist all over the world. So to be clear, I'm not talking about situations like that. I'm talking about a local artist or a local food vendor that is just trying to make a living to support themselves and or their family. So really think about your economic impact when you are visiting these places. And number 4, I really hate that I have to say this, but drink responsibly. This has caused a lot of hostility with locals in a variety of different places. So being mindful of the space you take up. An example that I'll share is actually my partner who's from Hawaii. He and a lot of the local people in Hawaii really take issue with tourists coming there, disrespecting the land, partying, raging, becoming belligerent. Same in when I went to San Sebastian in Spain. That was another situation that I saw. And so it's just important to be mindful of the space that you take up. Still party, just do it responsibly, because, you know, we're on vacation. We want to have a good time. And last thing I want to say about this slide, and we'll, you know, open it up to some questions, is I think my motto is more so in the line of leave the place better than you found it. And another theme or, you know, mindset to have is, you know, eliminating harm that is outside of our control is impossible. So I will give an example to gentrification. That's a whole, you know, rabbit hole that I will not get into, but that's just an example of, it's not super within our control. But I really just believe in reducing harm in a way that is within our control. And these are some of those ways. So just as a reminder, you do have financial agency, you do have financial power, economic power, and that's just such an exciting thing to acknowledge. And I just wanted to remind you of that. And thank you for your time. So these are ways to keep in touch. Thank you for your time and attention. You know, I will be sending an additional freebie your way in the post event email. And yeah, if you got a lot of value out of this workshop, and if you have the means, please do donate if you can. Me and the Nomadic Network, we're here donating our time and space to make this accessible as possible. So just thank you so much. Yeah, I want to open it up to questions before I get, you know, more into the closing remarks. So Erica, I feel like you've been collecting questions.
Oh, yes, I have been. Thank you so much, Stella. That was amazing. And I love a good live demo, because honestly, a lot of presentations go over the what to do, but don't go into the, don't go into the specifics. And I'm so glad that you're sharing your spreadsheet with us. And I know somebody dropped in the comments how to make a copy, just in case anyone was curious, of a Google Doc.
Y'all are amazing.
I definitely have collected some questions. Cool. I think I'm going to start with a very general question, and it's coming in just asking like what country you would recommend for a first-time digital nomad, and maybe you could also explain how you came up with the countries that you want to live in during this stint.
Okay. First, beginner digital nomad. You know, I'm going to be real. I think that's a really hard question to answer, just because every person is different. I'll just speak personally. My I feel like Medellin is such a great place to kick off your digital nomad experience. It's beautiful. The people are great. There's also that balance between the comfort of, having the space where there are digital nomads, while also challenging yourself because not a lot of people speak English here. So I feel like it's a balance between the two. And also, I really, I feel it's kind of like a mind trip where I'm seeing my US dollar go such a long way here. So budget wise, since you are going to make mistakes, I would go to a place that's a little bit more budget friendly. So you can, make mistakes and it's okay. That's kind of my feedback because I've learned all these things that I mentioned. I'm like, yeah, I should have got that. I should have got that. I'm going to tell all these people what they should have done that I didn't do. So yeah, I would say Colombia, Medellin. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful here. I think I answered that question.
Yeah, and if you have if anyone in the on the call right now has anything to add, feel free to add that in the chat. I personally have never been to Colombia, but I've been a digital nomad all over, and I think Southeast Asia is also a great place to start just because so many people are digital nomading there that, it has the structures for it. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. And then we had a question about apps. Like, obviously you're in the digital world. There are some apps that you use to either help you budget or help you keep track of your credit cards or anything like that that you would recommend other people looking into.
So I'm going to sound like I'm inviting everyone here into a cult. But I started with that spreadsheet, and I say that I am sharing that spreadsheet if you're like a beginner budgeter. It is just really helpful for someone that's for the first time ever really diving in a little bit deeper on their financial journey and budget. However, I use YNAB, otherwise known as You Need a Budget, and it has freaking changed my entire life and mindset around money.
Sorry, can you explain, because I know that is a whole different beast.
Yeah. So I'm going to manage everyone's expectations here. I hated it for the first 3 months. It was a really tough learning curve. I had to watch tons of YouTube videos. I'm going to shout out the Avocado Toast Budget and Nick True. And I'm also going to do a shameless plug to my offering. I do support people with YNAB onboarding and budgeting. However, so what YNAB is, it's just a budgeting app. You link all your accounts, you create your own budget, it's customizable. However, the way that they do things is called zero-based budgeting. So you have to give every dollar a job. And if you overspend, it will tell you. Whereas like my budget spreadsheet is more like, especially with the variable side, you're kind of like saying, oh, I'm just going to set aside 400 for my variable spend. And it's up to you to stay within that budget. Whereas YNAB is like, if you go over budget, we're going to let you know. And then you're going to have to figure out how to cover it. And if you can't, they will also incentivize you in how to pay off the debt. So yeah, changed my life. Highly recommend. I'll add that to the spreadsheet and just put that in my notes because I think that YNAB is great. In terms of add to slides. Okay, in terms of like any other apps, I actually don't recommend any others. I feel like the YNAB is where it's at. Take the time to learn it.
I agree. I've never used it, but people swear by YNAB. It's one of these, if you're looking to budget, if you're looking to, really be consistent about what you're doing with spending and savings, this is the ultimate community that I've heard about over and over again. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that. Um, okay, we have a super general question about an
Okay.
average budget needed for a lengthy trip around the world. So I would give some context to what you are, recommending here, because that is a very variable question. So feel free to answer whatever
Yeah.
you'd like.
So I'm assuming you said, it's, just to be clear, a year-long travel adventure. I guess I have so many questions. Are you working? Are you not working? Let's just say it doesn't actually even matter if you're working or not working. Because I would recommend having a whole year of your expenses saved. That's what I recommend. What are those expenses? The reason why I wanted to give a tutorial with the spreadsheet is because you can actually make tabs. And I'm just gonna like share my screen real quick and see if like there's a way I can just pull that tab really quick. Oh my gosh, this is where Zoom can be a little annoying. You can make tabs here for yourself, like duplicate and make a tab for each place that you are going to be traveling to. And you can project what your budget will look like for each country that you're going to. So I think that that's really valuable to know and information to account for. But whatever your monthly expenses are now, I would say save up to a whole year. If you are for sure not going to be working during that time. If you are, I would say 6 months is enough. But a year, of course, is better. You have to kind of just tune into your own comfort level and see, what makes you feel the most financially safe and secure, because you want to make sure that money is not going to stress you out while you're, living the dream. So, yeah.
I totally love that. And also for whoever asked that question, thank you. And I want to do a shameless plug. Nomadic Matt always talks about $50 a day. So that doesn't have anything to do with your mortgage payments, your car payments, anything that you're leaving at home would be outside of that, but that comes to $18,250 a year. So that covers all of your actual travel expenses. Or like that could cover you. Obviously, I dropped the link of the book in the chat, but then he goes to describe like what that would look like, because obviously you can't take a flight every other day for $50 a day. So, and that's why I think digital nomadism is so attractive, because you are moving at a slower pace, because you have to work. And how are you going to actually see the places you're going if you're moving so fast, right? I know you're planning on 1 month in each place, right?
Yes. So actually, I'll share some advice. I would have spread that out a lot better. 1 month in one place is just not enough time. And I just can't stand the fact that every month I have to acclimate somewhere new. It's just not for me personally. And then also on an ethical level, spacing it out means you're, lowering your carbon emissions, right? By taking less flights, by jumping from place to place. So that's another thing that I wish I took into account.
Right. Yeah. Always live and learn, right? Live and learn.
Exactly.
How do you determine, somebody's asking about Airbnb and Wi-Fi quality. How would you go about assessing that? Because everyone says they have Wi-Fi, but what does that actually mean? Especially if you're a digital nomad, you need really good Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm in that learning curve right now. And even saying like going to a co-working space might be a little bit more secure in terms of Wi-Fi. I can't really say that though, because I've been to co-working spaces and the Wi-Fi has been not so great. Um, so there's some options. I know that people do invest in their own Wi-Fi. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on what it's called, but it's like a
Like a
Wi-Fi.
Mophie?
Yes, like a portable Wi-Fi that they can carry around. Mobile hotspot. Thank you, Diane. Gosh. Wow, it was right on the tip of my tongue. That is something that people do. I I don't I don't feel like it's a need because again, I don't know how great those work either. So if anyone has feedback and reviews on a mobile hotspot, please do put them in the chat. I think that you just have to, it's about risk. It's like you're doing the digital nomad thing, it's a risk. You kind of just have to figure out, trial and error. You can also directly ask the Airbnb, like, what is the actual Wi-Fi thing.
Yeah, their quality. I would agree. And I think that also people that leave reviews usually say like great Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi was spotty. So I would just go for the ones that have lots of reviews and see what you can garner from that.
Yes. Yeah.
I will say I just typed into the chat. My husband is a super techie, and we spend 3 months each year in Ghana and pretty far outside of the city center. And so the Wi-Fi is pretty bad. But we are digital nomads for those 3 months. So he came up with this whole solution. I just dropped it in the chat. It's quite complicated. Well, I wouldn't say it's quite complicated, but you need to plan for it, and it does cost a few $100s. But if you're going to stay somewhere for a while, you could bring Google Fi systems and set them up around your place and then have Wi-Fi everywhere. So, and those are movable, so you can bring them with you.
Wow. The more you know.
The more you know. I'm telling you, live and learn. I was a digital nomad for 10 years before I figured this, before I met him and we figured this out. So definitely lots of learning. There is a question about what have you found that's cheaper or more economical that you can do as a digital nomad versus somebody just traveling, let's say in Colombia? What comes out to be a little bit cheaper?
Just like general, like day-to-day life, or like tourism related stuff?
Like general day, like in your budget, right?
Okay. Oh my gosh. I mean, what pulled me here was honestly the quality that I saw in Airbnbs were so nice. Like it's like I feel like this apartment is so amazing and nice. And it's so big and there's lots of space compared to like the rent. Like it was just like it's more bang for your buck, like what you would rent here versus renting, depending on where you're at. In San Francisco, my rent went from 2,700, and then as you saw in my spreadsheet, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it was around $1,300 for staying here for the month, and way bigger, more beautiful, like just really amazing. I think also just day-to-day life. I mean, we can invest in certain things that we weren't able to invest in at home, like consistent gym membership, a co-working space. Like we can actually eat out and not feel like every time I look on YNAB, I'm like, oh my God, like what have I done, at the end of each week. That has been really, really nice. So honestly, you just end up seeing more cash and savings in your budget. That's like what I found as a pleasant surprise. So yeah.
That's great. And then we have 2 questions we'll round it out with. One is, what's the most challenging, or what are the most challenging things that you found while working in other countries? It could be Wi-Fi or anything, honestly.
Honestly, like I'm gonna give a real talk. It has been, I have learned this about myself. Um, I am a creature of habit. I love being in a place, especially for like work, um, where I can just be in a routine and acclimate. I've learned that for me, acclimating, I budgeted a day. That's another thing. You have to budget your time. That's really important. And I think that that has been challenging for me. Again, it's a learning experience, but I wish I budgeted one day is a minimum. But honestly, for me, I think I wish I had 2 days, maybe even 3 days in between each place to just do nothing. Oh, buffer days. That's
Yeah.
Sarah, that's honestly, it's for me, I call it like my batteries on 0%, sometimes in the negatives, my like human battery. And I'm like, I just need to recharge. I need to acclimate. I need to set up and organize everything. And so that has been a challenge. I realized I was like, I don't think I'm like the type of digital nomad that can just take their laptop and like bounce around everywhere and be like fine. I need, I need a lot of time to recharge and buffer.
I love that. It definitely, I keep saying live and learn. It's so different based on who you are, how old you are, what you like to do, you know, how much you actually want to see in a place, how focused you are on your career. There's so many factors to all of these questions. It's really, I'm grateful that you're able to answer it from your own experience, but also you really have to make your own judgments based on what you want, because some people love to travel fast and some people would rather stay somewhere for 3, 4, 5 months or end up moving there, So,
Yeah.
we've had quite a few questions about these very general digital nomad questions. And I encourage everyone to just, think of how you'd like to live your life and try to plan around that. That's what's so great about your budgeting spreadsheet is you can really make it your own, right?
Yeah, because we're all different. We're all different, and we have to, that's why, especially on like just financial planning in general and budgeting, it's not a one size fits all, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One last thing, anything you
Yeah.
wish you had done or prepared for before one of your trips?
Oh, I have one. So this is related to the O Trek that I just did in Patagonia. And also, I'm a nature person. I love hiking, I love nature. And I didn't realize how much gear would cost to be able to do these types of excursions out in nature. So, booking the actual like lodging and like the campsites and all that was fine. But if you are a trekker, that's something that it was my first time doing a long-term trek like that. I mean, I have an Instagram post about my Patagonia budget. I'm pretty sure the number one cost, either that or it's a close second, was the sleeping bags. It was the tent. It was the backpack to carry everything around. Severely underestimated that, and I went way over budget. So yeah.
I mean, you live and learn. I just wanted to really thank you, Stella, for your time and all the effort you put into this. We are going to follow up with some resources and an email in the next few days, but thank you so much for being here. Thank you everyone for being a part of this. I have dropped Stella's information a few times. And also I dropped the link for any future events if you'd like to join in on those. Really appreciate you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and good luck with your digital nomading.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. feel free to keep in touch. And if there's any other questions that we didn't get to, slide into my DMs, email me. You have my info, and I do respond to those. So thank you for being in community together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.